How to deal with pain. Kevin noticed that in my videos I make no attempt to avoid rocks when walking barefoot. It turns out that it's not that I don't avoid rocks, but I purposefully look for pointy things and uncomfortable things to walk on barefoot. That's because I've been fascinated by pain since I'm a little kid. This fascination started with heroes of Japanese anime who would achieve incredible things just through willpower and determination. And I learned at the same time from my mom what she called the Kue method, that I know now as positive psychology, which says that if you do repeat something to yourself often enough, then it does become true. So, as a kid, I experimented with pain because it turns out that there's two realities of pain. There is the physical experience of the pain, and actually it's not the pain. There's the physical experience, and then there is the interpretation of the experience as pain. And there is, so what's happening in the brain and what's happening in the body, which are two different things. What happens when we feel pain is that at the brain level, the brain shuts down other parts of the brain, isolates the pain sensors so that this is all you feel. So what pain does is that it disconnects the rest of your brain so that all you notice, all you can feel is pain. That's the body's alarm system, warning system saying you need to pay attention to this. And so it turns out that there are techniques, methods to reduce pain. And all of these techniques and methods revolve around the way we pay attention, the way we use our mind. It's not about strengthening the body. It's not about making your body tougher. It's about making your mind able to comprehend the pain in a different way. So as a kid, and I know this may be scary and crazy for some people, but I used to experiment with pain. So for example, I would take a knife and cut the back of my hand, and the idea was to notice, first, how strong did I have to push the knife before I would start feeling the pain? Could I cut myself without feeling pain? How much of the pain could I actually reduce just by focusing my attention differently and through my mind? I did the same with lighters. I did the same emotionally. A lot of people shield themselves emotionally. When I got married, people told me, well, you sure, the only thing that is dangerous? And I knew that if we were to get divorced, it was going to be painful. And so I told everyone that, well, we'll either be married 3 months or our entire life. And I knew that there was a risk for pain. And the reason I go into pain is because pain teaches us. Pain is an amazing way to learn how our mind and body functions, how we interact with the world around us. Pain is amazing for growth. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so, what is the technique to reduce pain? Let me explain how it works with walking barefoot, because it's an easy place to see it and understand it. And then we'll look into how to do the same thing with emotions and any other kind of pain. So, the question people ask about the walking barefoot, they say, well, now you got these big, thick calluses, like you've got a thick layer that's been built. It took about 3 months to build a nice thick layer. And people often ask, well, so does that mean that you feel less stuff? That now you don't feel? It's easy for you because you don't feel the ground. And that is the biggest misconception, because it is the exact opposite. Now that I've got a protection layer on my feet, I can actually feel a lot more. I can now feel all the different sensations and not just what I used to call pain. So when I started, it was walking on anything that wasn't smooth. I was like, this hurts, and I would just, panic and it looked terrible. So at the beginning, all you feel is the pain because the brain isolates the pain and says, danger, danger, and nothing else exists in your reality. So the first step was to walk on things that felt painful and notice all the other sensations under my feet. So I would walk and I would notice the mud on the other sides. I would notice a leaf that is squishing under my foot. I would notice the warmth of the place I was walking at, or the dryness of it, or the wetness of it. And then I would focus my attention on the sensations on my body, how much I could feel the wind, how much what are the sounds that I can hear, etc., etc. And so what happens is that then the pain becomes a small part of the entire experience, which is the same emotionally. Again, with my ex-wife, we got divorced. I could focus just on the pain of the divorce. And then everything would be horrible about her, and she would be an evil woman who blah, blah, blah. But I much prefer to focus my attention on the full range and focus my attention on also the good stuff and also the bad stuff, so that I can have a much more real perspective as to what's going on. Something that is much closer to life. And not just an image of life. Because the temptation with reducing pain is to try to get rid of the pain. And to say, you know what, I'm going to focus my attention only on the good stuff. I believe that this is dangerous, and doctors believe it's dangerous, because if you don't also notice the pain, what happens is that you can reduce the pain, remove the warning signs, and injure yourself even more. So if the pain you feel is, a muscular pain that will just go away naturally, and you reduce the pain, it's fine. But if there is something that, because you reduce the pain, will push the problem you have, you will actually damage yourself even more. In terms of emotions, so this is where it happens at both levels. And you can do the same exercise financially, you can do the same exercise for any other types of pain. Intellectual, I'm not quite sure that would be, but it is, I'm sure, doable, because the principle of pain is always the same. So I wish you to feel a lot of pain, and then a lot of other sensations and emotions at the same time. May you have a magical experience and a beautiful day.